So this guy single-handedly rigged McDonald's Monopoly game, and nobody knew for 12 years. You know, the game where people could win millions of dollars just by collecting those little stickers on their Big Mac boxes and fries while dreaming of that $1 million prize? Yeah, you know the one.
One of the pieces is fairly easy to find, Park Place, but your chances of finding Boardwalk is 1 in 602 million.
But the odds are actually 0 because of Jerome Jacobson, but we'll just call him Jerry. Jerry's an ex-cop living in Georgia, and he's got what you might call a trust problem. See, Jerry works as head of security for Simon Marketing, the company that runs McDonald's Monopoly game. So basically, Jerry's job is to make sure nobody cheats at McDonald's Monopoly. But here's the thing about Jerry. He's about to become the biggest cheater in McDonald's history. I'm not saying he planned to steal millions of dollars from day one, but you know. So it's 1989 and Jerry's working at Simon Marketing doing his security thing. His job is pretty straightforward. Protect the high value game pieces, the ones worth millions of dollars. And Jerry takes this job seriously, at least at first. He's got a vault. He personally delivers the winning pieces to packaging facilities. Everything seems legit. Jerry's just a regular guy doing a regular job. But then one day in 1995, something happens that changes Jerry's entire life. A supplier accidentally sends Jerry a package of anti-tamper seals, those special stickers used to secure the prize envelopes. And Jerry looks at these seals and he's like, that's weird. Why did they send me these? Now, let's pause Jerry's story for a second because we got to talk about what Jerry's been thinking. See, Jerry's convinced that the game is already rigged. He believes his own company is manipulating the system to favor US winners over Canadian winners. So Jerry's sitting there looking at these stolen seals thinking, well, if the game's already rigged, why shouldn't I get a piece of the action? And that's when Jerry gets a really, really bad idea. So Jerry takes those anti-tamper seals and he crosses a line he can't uncross. He waits until he's alone. Sometimes he'll literally go into an airport bathroom during his delivery trips, and he carefully peels off the seal on a prize envelope. Then he takes out the $1 million game piece, replaces it with a worthless piece, and reseals the envelope with one of those stolen stickers. And just like that, Jerry has stolen his first $1 million McDonald's Monopoly piece. But here's where Jerry does something nobody expects. He doesn't keep the piece for himself. Instead, he decides to mail it anonymously to St. Jude Children's Hospital. Yeah, you heard that right. Jerry's first act as a criminal mastermind is to donate $1 million to charity. Bro really said, I'm gonna be a criminal, but like a nice criminal. But McDonald's has no idea what's happening. St. Jude's get this anonymous donation. They hold a press conference with Ronald McDonald, and they're like, wow, what a generous mystery donor. Meanwhile, Jerry's sitting at home watching the news coverage, probably thinking, holy crap, I actually got away with it. And that's when Jerry realizes he's found the perfect crime. But Jerry doesn't stop there. Oh no, Jerry's just getting started. So Jerry keeps stealing pieces, but now he's getting smarter about it. And the first person he recruits is this guy named Gennaro Colombo. Now, Gennaro claims to be part of the Colombo crime family. Yeah, like the actual mafia. And he's got connections everywhere, which, you know, probably should have been Jerry's first red flag, but whatever. So here's how their scam works. Jerry steals $1 million piece, gives it to Gennaro. Gennaro finds some random person to claim the prize, and then that person has to give most of the money back to Jerry and Gennaro. It's like a criminal pyramid scheme, but with McDonald's Monopoly pieces. Genius? Maybe. Completely illegal? Definitely. And this goes on for years. Jerry's got people winning cars, winning cash prizes, winning everything. And McDonald's has no idea because Jerry is literally the guy in charge of security. It's like having the fox guard the henhouse, except the fox is also running a criminal enterprise and getting really good at it. But then in 1998, something terrible happens that almost ruins everything. Gennaro gets into a car accident and dies. And Jerry's like, oh crap, I just lost my main guy. But Jerry's not about to stop now. He's made too much money and he's gotten way too good at this whole crime thing. So Jerry starts recruiting new people. He meets this guy, Don Hart, on a cruise ship and tells him about the scam. He recruits this ex-con named Andrew Glom who has connections all over the country. Jerry's network is growing and the money is flowing like crazy. And here's the absolutely insane part. Between 1995 and 2000, essentially every single major McDonald's Monopoly winner was fake. Every single one. If you were playing McDonald's Monopoly during those years wondering why you never won anything big, well, now you know. Jerry had stolen all the good pieces and was handing them out to his criminal buddies. Jerry's living the high life. His neighbors start noticing he's suddenly got multiple new cars despite his modest salary. He's making millions of dollars and McDonald's is completely clueless. For 5 years, Jerry is basically the king of McDonald's Monopoly fraud. Until one day in March 2000, everything starts to fall apart. The FBI gets an anonymous tip. Someone calls them and says, hey, there's this guy called Uncle Jerry who's been rigging McDonald's games games, and all the recent big winners are fraudulent. Now, nobody knows for sure who made that call, but here's what's interesting. After Genaro died, his family wasn't too happy with Jerry. Some people think Genaro's relatives tipped off the FBI as revenge, but we'll never know for sure. What we do know is that Jerry's about to have a very bad day. So the FBI opens an investigation. They call it Operation Final Answer, which is pretty clever since McDonald's was also running a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire promotion at the time. And the FBI goes all out. They're tracking 20,000 phone numbers, recording hundreds of conversations, and they come up with this brilliant plan. They're going to pose as a McDonald's film crew. So FBI agents show up at winners' houses with cameras, pretending to make a promotional video for McDonald's. They're like, "Congratulations on your big win. Can you tell us how you found your winning piece?" And these fake winners start telling the most ridiculous stories you've ever heard. One guy claims a magazine blew into the ocean and a wave washed his winning piece back to shore. Another person says they found their piece after it fell out of their pocket. The FBI agents are just sitting there with hidden cameras, recording all these lies, probably thinking these people are terrible at this. Meanwhile, Jerry has no idea any of this is happening. He's still stealing pieces, still running his network, completely oblivious that the FBI is building a massive case against him. Bro is about to get the surprise of his life. But then in July 2001, the FBI asked McDonald's to run one more Monopoly game, and McDonald's is like, it's okay, but why? And the FBI is like, just trust us. So McDonald's runs the game, and sure enough, several high-value prizes get won by people in Jerry's network. But this time, the FBI is watching everything. They're recording the phone calls, they're following the money, they're documenting every step of the fraud. Jerry's walking right into their trap. And then, on August 21st, 2001, the FBI strikes. In a coordinated dawn raid across multiple states, they arrest Jerry and 7 of his co-conspirators. Jerry's at his house in Georgia when the FBI shows up. He's probably thinking it's just another normal Tuesday, and then boom, federal agents are at his door with handcuffs.
This fraud scheme denied McDonald's customers a fair and equal chance of winning. We want those involved in this type of corruption to know that breaking the law is not a game.
The crazy thing is, this massive story breaks on September 10th, 2001. The trials are starting, the media is covering it, and it's this huge scandal. But then the next day, September 11th happens, and suddenly nobody cares about McDonald's Monopoly fraud anymore. The tragic events of September 11th understandably dominated all media coverage, and this fraud case, despite being the biggest promotional scam in U.S. history, was quickly forgotten by the public. But the legal consequences are very real. In total, 53 people get indicted. Jerry gets sentenced to 37 months in prison and has to pay back $12.5 million. Most of his co-conspirators get lighter sentences, especially if they cooperate and throw Jerry under the bus. And McDonald's, they're absolutely furious. They fire Simon Marketing, sue everybody, and end up paying $25 million to customers as compensation. They basically give away the equivalent of what Jerry stole just to make things right with their customers. That is wild. If you like this story, check out this one about the mastermind who stole over $24 million before 2 hot dogs brought down the largest lottery fraud in history.